to probably get the best experience in terms of the webinar, in terms of seeing all the questions that they come in. I'll be able to pull your questions and show them on the screen the best, etc. So we did one of these last week and there was like 45 people. I don't expect that many tonight. But the reason we have these is so that way you can get your questions answered and see if Copilot is the right fit for you, or if it needs to wait a while so we can get certain features done. So thank you for joining tonight. Last weekend, I made a post basically talking about our lifetime price lock guarantee, which essentially anyone that is in the enterprise level of Copilot will have their price locked in forever for their lifetime, and they will not have any price increases. And so that's kind of our way of saying thank you to the people that allowed us to build Copilot over this past year and join so early. There's been a lot of bumps and hurdles along the road because we've been developing so fast. That'll slow down a little bit as we head into 2024, as we really focus more on stability and having less bugs, etc. But as a way of saying thank you to everyone that joins before 2024, that's why we're doing the price lock guarantee. So I mentioned it last weekend, and immediately the sales team, like their calendars are booked all the way through December. So I didn't want it to be where it's like you want to join, but you have a few questions, you can't get those answered. So that's why I'm doing these live streams. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer those. Nothing is off the table, so feel free to share and ask anything you would like. And I'll do my very best to answer those questions. And we can go ahead and get started. Obviously, most of you probably saw the announcement today that job costing and price matrices was added in for all the enterprise level users. And we make it a toggle. It's an optional thing that you don't have to use it. So that way, if you're not using job costing, you can just toggle it off in your settings and it doesn't bother you. It doesn't add any more fields to your estimates, etc. So looking forward to being able to continue to add features, especially over the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's going to be kind of a breakneck speed. And then as we head into 2024, really focusing on getting rid of the things that we've been putting up with in terms of bugs and some other stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump in. I can answer any question you might have. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to Jack. He's in the house. Parker. Feel free to mention where you're from. We got Josh. Looks like he's from Canada. Patrick Contine. So thank you all for joining. I really do appreciate it. And we'll go ahead and start. There's about 20 of us tonight. So again, I will stay on as long as I possibly can and answer every single question that's posted here in the comments. So Jack Molzer, excited for the info on the software. Parker's Park and Garden. G'day, Mike. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're from Australia. Thanks for doing the live stream. To answer questions due to the sales calls being booked out, I have a question in regards to data privacy and security. Fire away, Parker. Or Parker's Parks and Gardens. Sorry, I don't know your actual name. Josh, can we do e-transfers in Canada or only credit cards? Josh, it's all through Stripe, and Stripe uses a service called Plaid, and I'm pretty sure the e-transfers are through there as well, through the ACH. So that is something that I have not confirmed because our Canadian locations are moving over later in December for Augusta. And so I will know very much firsthand very shortly, but I would imagine if you type in Stripe and e-transfer, you'll get a whole bunch of information about how that works. I know that we have Canadian users. I know they've talked about this before, and it doesn't seem to have been an issue recently. And since last time I remember it being talked about like early last spring. So I think so. I do not know for certain, but I'm pretty confident that once it's integrated with Plaid, it kind of works through their same ACH system. Patrick Contine has a question. Hello, Mike. We briefly met at Landscape Summit in Louisville a few months ago. Currently have 8 maintenance crews, 3 people each crew. Whoa. So you got 24 people, no CRM in place, just using Excel spreadsheets, daily route printouts, daily route printouts, and daily time tracking sheets for each job. Most of the labor and maintenance crews are from the H2B program. With there being a language barrier and technology gap, can my office punch in times from the manual log sheets into Copilot for time tracking? Yes. So basically what they'll need to do is when the job is completed, they could manually go into the job and manually change the start and end time. That's totally fine. And even if someone does have the app and they punch in and they punch out and they made a mistake, you can go into time tracking, see the individual job, and then change the times manually. So yes, you can do that. Also, can you print off jobs for each day if the people out in the field are unable to access Copilot? Thanks again. This is Patrick from Cleveland, Ohio. Yes, you can do that. You can print out route sheets. And if you don't have the mobile versions, they can still have the printouts of their route if needs be. We don't recommend it, mostly because you can't route them. or sorry, you can't, it's harder for them. I'm assuming they probably just are typing the addresses into each job to get the directions. Just inefficient. And more importantly, as time goes on, when we start adding a bunch of AI in 2024, having them have the app will be huge in terms of just we can get so much more data and give you more data in terms of who should work with who and a whole bunch of other stuff that we have coming down the pipe. So I would recommend them trying to get on the app. That being said, if they're Spanish, they don't speak English, we are working on a Spanish app towards the end of next year. And so you might just want to wait for that. Or if they're all just used to no app, then I would just go ahead and print out their route sheets. At least your back end becomes much more efficient. Down the road, when their guys get on the app, you'd see another boom in efficiency gained. So at your size, like the amount of efficiencies gained by having a CRM is phenomenal. Like it'll literally change the business. It'll be quite a bit of a hurdle because if you've never done any software stuff, it's going to be a bit of a hurdle. But if you can just do the back end, and even if you just print out the route sheets for now, having 24 guys, if they all save 10 minutes a day, like just because of the better route optimization, the ability to upsell customers, just a lot of different things in terms of cards on file and that sort of thing, you're going to save like it'll be tremendous. And if you're trying to grow the business, things like automations will just take it to the next level. So congratulations for getting as far as you have without CRM. That's actually pretty phenomenal. So congrats to you. Parker's Parks and Gardens. Do you have any policies or protection for the user's data? How and where is this shared? And is there a guaranteed data can't be used for a competitive advantage? Thanks. This is a great point. We talked about it last week as well. So there's two things. One, I don't usually talk about like what I promise with data with Copilot because it's just empty words. What I would recommend doing is looking at what I've done with data in the past. So keep in mind, Copilot's not the first time I have data outside of Augusta. I have obviously a lot of data with Augusta Lawn Care, but I have lots of data on my direct competition. And it's not just their CRM. We have hundreds of landscaping companies that are in direct competition with Augusta Lawn Care in all of our markets. And we do their websites, which technically means I have all their lead flow by the neck. And I could misuse that data and give it to a franchisee or bring it to one of my locations that I have 7 across the US. I've never done that, not one single time. And if it ever happened one time, I would immediately ruin my reputation. And everything I've built is based upon my reputation and what we're building and the community, what we're trying to build, et cetera. So if I ever did that one time, literally, it'd be bad. Everything I've built would essentially, it hinges on that. The second thing is, not only do we control websites, I literally have Home Service CPA, which has social security numbers. I have all the personal tax information, personal income of my direct competitors in most of my markets. And so I've never misused that data, not one single time. And again, if I did, it'd be stupid because it would literally ruin everything I've done. And so everything that we're doing is trying to improve the community, improve the landscaping industry. And so me misusing data just one time would be catastrophic to everything I've built. It would be the stupidest thing I'd ever do. So I never have, I never will. And in terms of guardrails for that, like I can't get in there and start taking your data out without literally going to a support person and asking for their credentials. And they don't have a shoe in the game. So I would say just look at my reputation and look what we've done in the past. And that's not brag. It's like, that's the best form of me to answer your question instead of being like, I promise I will not share your data. It's like, I never have, I never will. And I have plenty of more data that I could show and talk about publicly, including people's tax returns and their business acquisitions and how many customers they have and their whole database, et cetera. So I just never have done that. Waiting for Landscape Summit 2024. Let's go. We got Edmonton in the house. Josh, thank you. Jobber only does credit here. Yeah, so you just want to check, Josh, and what's cool is with Copilot, you can sign up, and then for enterprise, you have 90 days where like it's money back guarantee. So like you literally could use it for a month, see if the e-transfer thing works, and if not, just hand it back to us when we give you your money back. So just to recap, for those that you don't know, we have a 9-day money back guarantee for enterprise level users. Literally, if you don't like my hair, if you think I'm too short, like for whatever reason in the world, you can get your money back up for 90 days. Now we have a 365-day money back guarantee though. And I'm actually, instead of just talking about it, give me 1 second here. I know most of you probably know this. but I'm going to actually pull it up just so that you actually have it in writing. Cause someone the other day was like, I heard you say this, but like, I want it in writing first. Okay, great. Here it is. It's at copilotcrm.com/guarantee. And this is it right here. And I'll just read it. I guarantee that your revenue or profit will increase by at least 10% within 1 year of using the Copilot CRM enterprise level subscription. If your tax returns show this wasn't accomplished and you cancel your subscription, I will refund all of your first year dues. And then if you watch this video, I break it down even more. So we try to keep it simple. It's 2 sentences. 2 sentences long. This 365-day money back guarantee. So basically, for an entire year, if you can't grow your business by 10% in terms of revenue or grow your profits by 10%, I'll give you your money back. And the reason we do that is because Copilot exists for you to make more money. And so my personal mission is to change the level of professionalism in the industry, and really to make small business owners rich. I really do believe that them having more money creates better jobs, creates better housing, creates better education, creates better communities. And so, if we can't do that for you at Copilot, if we don't help you grow your business, I don't want to take your money. The reason Copilot exists is for that to happen. And so I'm not going to advertise to you about how great my software is and how the features are if I can't guarantee results. The same way that you would also give money back guarantee to your customers if you like cut their grass or you paint their house or you build a fence. It's like, if I don't build the fence and you don't get the privacy you're looking for, you're not going to pay me. If your grass isn't cut when I leave, you're not going to pay me. Same thing is true for Copilot. If we don't help your business grow in revenue or in profit, you're not going to pay us. And ultimately, I want that level of accountability because that keeps me true to what the business and what Copilot exists for and why you get software. Because you don't get software to have fancy bells and whistles. All right. We just had one of the gentlemen here have a business has 24 employees and has never had a CRM. So you can build a business without a CRM. Absolutely. My hope is that by plugging into a business that already has $2 million in revenue, for example, like that one, that you can make an extra $200,000 simply because of the automations and the ability to upsell and the ability to do one-click estimate emails and bulk text message your customers and a whole bunch of other things that we build to do one thing, and that is increase revenue, increase profits in your business. And so, unfortunately, the CRM game, the world of software, does not do that. They don't promise and guarantee their results, and they do a great job of advertising. They do a great job of promoting their product, but they will not guarantee the results. And that's what Copilot is really here to do. And that is put pressure on these people that have a ton of money because they're raising gazillions of dollars from private equity, public markets, etc. I want them to deploy more of that money towards building features for this industry. Because in my opinion, we are 4 to 5 years behind the leaders in the software industry in terms of HubSpot and Salesforce. The the advertising tracking, the lead tracking that these softwares have is phenomenal. And I don't see that in the home service industry. And my hope is that by Copilot getting ahead and pushing the envelope a little bit, although will be somewhat uncomfortable in terms of lots of new features and lots of development like we've had in 2023, the hope is that it pushes some of these other companies to do what we're doing. And that is constantly focus on innovation, increase support. So like we're not cutting support. We're adding support as much as we possibly can. We're adding live streams. Like here, let me real quick. I know we're jumping into the questions, but I will get to every single question that comes in. I'll just pull this one thing up real quick. Boom, there it is. Let me open this up. This is what, why can't, I have to pull into here. Okay, give me 1 second. Sorry, I wasn't planning on this. Give me 1 second here. Boom. All right, now I should be able to share this. This is a list of the stuff that we worked on at Copilot this year. Okay. So from a support perspective, this is what we added in. We now do a daily live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for support. We added Zoom and phone one-on-one support. We have Copilot University. We extended the air traffic control, that's ATC, support chat to 65 hours a week. We're going to be trying to extend that over 80 hours a week by adding in the weekends here pretty soon. Have a private live stream every 2 weeks with myself, and we talk about the roadmap with all our users. And then we have the flight log. This is all stuff we added in 2023 alone. All right, so just this year, this is what we've done. From infrastructure backend, as of last week, we are now in AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, which allows us a huge amount of compute power And immediately we saw about between a 40 and 60% increase in speed last week. We are working on offline mode for the app, which will be done next month. And this is in terms of backend infrastructure. So that way it's not all running on, if you have like a spotty service and stuff like that, you can still add job notes, add pictures, whole 9 yards. These are the features that we added in 2023. Sequence automations, job costing and price matrices launched today. Deposit thresholds, so you never have to wait for a deposit again from a customer. They pay it when they accept the job. Budget hour capacity charts, so you never overbook yourself in the future. P4P software integration, a big update coming out tomorrow too. Multi-location control. So if you have multiple locations, the ability to have an office or a command center, be able to access all of those accounts from one account without having to log in and out every single time. Call notes and automated reminders. So we have customer notes and we have call notes. And the call notes are searchable. So you can, every single interaction for years on end, instead of having a whole list of a document of all the stuff that's happened with this customer, you simply keep it in the call notes, which is searchable, and it attaches which user and what time they entered that call note. Card on file requirements. So again, instead of having to go send an automation or an email asking someone to put a card on file, it's already baked into the process of getting them to accept the estimate, and that's getting a card on file. So when you get an estimate, a notification saying an estimate is accepted, the card's on file, the deposit has been paid, and it's ready to go on the schedule already. Upselling from the mobile app. This is a feature like it's going to blow people away in the spring rush of just how powerful it is. The ability for your employees on the job site from a mobile device to be able to quickly analyze what the customer needs, tap a couple buttons, and based upon things that you have pre-programmed in the back end, upsell customers on what services they need on their property. A wiki page where you keep relevant information for your account, for your office staff specifically, of what information is relevant in terms of vendors and who to refer and what services you offer in your service area, and a whole bunch of other information can keep it all on the same place inside of Copilot. Global search bar and note search. So it's like sometimes when you're like, man, I know a few months ago I told so-and-so this, but I don't know if I put on a job note or an estimate note or an invoice note. I don't know where it's at. Now we can actually search all of this stuff. A KPI cockpit. So your key performance indicators, you see your close ratio. You can see how long it's taking you to get back to customers and get their estimates to them. You can see all the relevant information in terms of what your average ticket price for projects are versus recurring jobs, and what percentage of your revenue is coming from recurring jobs versus one-time projects. Whole bunch of information on there. Dark mode. Some people really like that. ChatGPT integration and an upgraded email builder. So we pay a lot of money to have a very, very solid email builder that you can use ChatGPT inside of it and basically create contracts, create responses to emails when customers are a little funky. You can have it customize those for you and make them personalized, and then copy and paste them and send them to the customer. And we also integrate with Zapier. Zapier allows you to integrate with over 5,000 different softwares and allow trigger events like creating a new property or creating a new customer, creating a to-do, and that can trigger things in other softwares. So if you like Slack, if you like using Google Docs, if you use Excel, for example, the gentleman already has been doing that, you can sync a lot of this stuff up together and create spreadsheets, etc., based upon certain triggers and events inside Copilot, all through Zapier. That's what we did in 1 year. All right. Now the question is, are we going to slow down? We are going to continue doing this, and we're going to continue until this industry starts spending more money on developing features for home service entrepreneurs. And so that's what I'm committed to. And I would just ask, like, is Copilot worth it? It's like, well, is it the best right now? No, Copilot's not the best CRM right now. I'm happy to say that. And try to be honest with that this whole year. We are not the best, but I would ask you, what did your CRM do in the past year? And is it innovating at that rate? And I truly do believe in 12 to 24 months, Copilot will be the obvious choice, and it will be the market leader. And at that point, we will start accomplishing what we're trying to do. And that is put pressure on these other companies to innovate and create better features for their users. Because I really do believe software, if utilized correctly, can absolutely make us as business owners much, much more profitable. Jeff Doucette asks, can you do a quick overhead comparison of the main strengths of Copilot versus, I don't know what House Call Pro. I've seen you compare with Jobber and the other ones, but now not House Call Pro. House Call Pro is not bad, but a little expensive nowadays, and seems like it can only grow to maybe 15 employees smoothly. Yeah, House Call Pro gets really expensive as you scale. That's probably my only thing against it. A few things with their dispatch board and automations aren't ideal, but I think it's solid. Like a lot of these infrastructures, this is the thing. when you create new features, you're going to create bugs. And a lot of times when you have a system that has been the same for years, that's why it doesn't have any bugs. And this is the thing. If you talk to, like Henry Ford said this, he's like, if I would have asked customers what they wanted, they would have said they wanted a faster horse. When in reality, what they needed was a car. And in part, right now, a lot of people, my biggest criticism of Copilot is that we have more bugs than I would like. We have over 25 in our system reported what we're working on, and we want to get that under 5. The thing is, if I asked everyone right now inside Copilot, including myself, what I want, I want to have a bug-free software. And obviously, we try to make it have better uptime and fast load speed and the dependability. But honestly, the features that we're trying to build at Copilot will grow the businesses and it will make them more profitable. And so the short-term pain of what we've been going through in 2023, especially, and even as we roll out new features in the future, although we are trying to make it easier, that short-term pain is what leads to the ability to have these features that will unlock extra power for your business. The same way that going from a horse to an actual car is short-term pain, and no one really knows exactly what that process looks like. And this whole manufacturing, you got to build this factory and all this other stuff. It's like the car is a better thing, but there's a transition point there. And so I really do believe that that is important for this industry to get these features and move away from like horse and buggy to like the car. And right now, if I asked myself, even like I would love, like my biggest thing if I could do is like just fix the bugs, fix all these things. We've really started making strides in terms of switching to AWS in terms of page load time, uptime, etc. But like the features that we are trying to build at Copilot is what's going to unlock a lot of profit and expansion. So in terms of like overhead comparison, a quick overhead comparison of home HCP versus Copilot. I don't really like to like bag on other CRMs. What I would say is like, look at the list that I just added of the features we've added in 2023, and then ask yourself like, what did House Call Pro do this year? Okay. The question is, which one's more stable? I can guarantee you House Call Pro is. Which one is innovating at a rate that's actually going to move the needle for your business? I would say in that regard, it's Copilot. Because just one feature like upsells or like one-click estimate emails or bulk sending text messages to your customers, just one of those, like upsells alone, could take an existing customer that's spending $1,000 per year with you and change it to $1,500 per year with you if you're doing recurring service. And that is literally by upselling them like an extra mulch install or an extra leaf cleanup or one extra service. And I truly believe that using that one feature, you could absolutely sell one more job to every one of your recurring customers. If you take $1,000 per year customer and turn them into $1,500 per year customer, you just added 50% revenue to your business without spending any money on marketing, without having to go get new leads, without having to go do marketing and advertising campaigns and talk to the customer. No, these are customers you're already servicing their property. You just increase their lifetime value by one feature of upsells. And so this is what gets lost in the shuffle. And when so many times, because there hasn't been innovation, in my opinion, for 3 to 4 years in the CRM world for home service businesses, we all get in this price comparison game. And so in my opinion, like price is actually not a super important thing when it comes to software. Because if you have a bigger business, 500,000, a million plus, 1% of your revenue being adjusted literally pays for the entire software. Like at $1 million in revenue, 1% of that is $10,000. That would be like $800 a month for your software. I'm guaranteeing at Copilot that you're going to get at least 10% increase in revenue or a 10% increase in profit. And so I would say that is the quick comparison, Jeff. By the way, I watched over 100 hours of your content before I started my own business. Helped insurmountably. Cheers. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Hey, Mike, 2 guys, 300 gross revenue projected for 2024. Is Copilot a good move at this stage or stick with Yardbook? If you're happy with Yardbook and you're not going to grow past 300, you might want to, you're going to have some pressure and pain in Yardbook at 300,000 a little bit. But if you're not growing beyond that, you might be fine. I would say if you're going to go beyond 300,000, you're going to start to feel some more pain. And furthermore, if you're trying to grow like to 1 million plus, or even 500,000 plus, doing it in Yardbook might take 3 years or 4 years versus 1, 2, or 3 years inside Copilot. Obviously, it comes down to you as the operator, but like the marketing features inside Copilot is built for growth. Like I am guaranteeing growth for your business. Therefore, it's a good idea for me to make sure the features are being added for you to grow your business. So Like, it just really comes down to what your long-term horizon. If you just want to stay at 2 guys with 300,000 in revenue and you don't have any pain in yard book, like there's nothing really like, you're losing out in certain areas, I'd just stick with it, to be perfectly honest. But if you're trying to grow, I think the rate at which you grow is much faster inside Copilot because of the features that are a little bit more advanced. Also, what would be the benefits of joining Augusta as a franchisee in the GTA? Sorry, I don't know what that means. Compared to sticking out and growing my own brand. I would just say, because this is more about Copilot, just check out AugustaLongerServices.com/franchise. There's a long form webinar in there. Feel free to watch that. That's what would be my recommendation, and is a good presentation and a whole bunch of Q&A. You can check that one out. Kind of breaks down the pros and the cons. Mike, will Copilot be able to show break even and actual profit when estimating larger construction projects? In addition, will we be able to see true job costing on a per project basis? Hey, Brian, yes, you will be able to on all of those fronts. We are going to have videos, if not this weekend, next week on Copilot University. So for anyone watching, Copilot University is free. You can watch it and see everything inside the software. And you can kind of go through the different features and see us explain it. It is literally a 2-day program that if you watch through it all, you literally like are pretty efficient at Copilot. We trained all of our command center reps at Augusta and with the support team at Copilot. You literally watch Copilot University. That's how you start. It'll get you 90% of the efficiency of like literally our support team. I would say to watch those next week, Brian. We do have a couple of additions that we're adding to it this coming week, to the job costing specifically, but it will absolutely do what you're talking about, like actual profit versus and break even, etc. It'll do that right now on a per project basis. Yes. The loan officers from Hamilton, New Jersey, David Warwick. I was not ready to make the switch from SA until last week. Their rate is going up over 10% in January. I'm already paying over $600 a month. My concern are price matrix, which I believe is live, although I couldn't figure it out on the text account. Okay. It is only available to enterprise level users, just FYI. We rely on estimate templates, which I don't think are available. Currently, we are fertilizer and mowing. We are going FERT only in 2 to 4 years. We have 90 mowing customers and 40 FERT, planning for 400 FERT in 2024. Great. Okay. So I thought you were going to say, well, look, there's 400 FERT now. If you had 400 FERT now, I'd say wait till at least February when we have more of the features for fertilization. We do have chemical tracking. We do have the live when it gets their weather and it gets the wind direction and all that stuff. We have all that for treatments. Packages are a little weak. Forms are a little weak. Those are things that we're going to be updating in January. And so I would probably wait till February if I was you. If you only have 40 FERT now, though, I think it could absolutely work. We have a lot of companies doing fertilizer. And I think with 40, you'd be just fine. I think if you had the 400 now, I'd probably say wait. And that would be my recommendation. Like if you're going to go get 100 or 200 in January and February, for example, maybe still might be a good thing to wait. But at 40 fertilization clients, I'd say you could definitely jump in now, because when we add the features in January and February, you could just switch 40 pretty easily. That would be my recommendation. Jim Barrett, all my fertilizer mosquito counts require contract agreement, and there must be a signature if they are not paying in full upfront. Is there an option to sign every estimate agreement that is sent out over? This is not done yet. We do have signatures inside of forms, but it is not baked into the estimate process. So we're going to have this as an option. I would say in terms of timeline, to be safe, I'll say February is when we would have this ready to go. So you could potentially like migrate information, et cetera, but like you're not going to have this actually baked into the estimate process as an option until February, I would say confidently. And then it'd be a matter of like, you could take it off or you could put it on, you could remove it for individual customers. Same like thing we have for card requirements on card on file requirements, deposit thresholds. You have a global setting, and then you can change it for individual customers. Because for example, with commercial work, you typically don't want to require card on file. So the option to remove this or change this will be in there as well. But to answer your question directly, it is not currently baked into the estimate process, and I'm not a huge fan of it in forms as well. So when we redo forms, we're going to redo that whole part, and we're going to make it part of the estimate acceptance process to get a signature, and then you have that option to change that in your settings. Josh Faragini. I apologize for butchering the name. Faragini. The only reason I haven't switched over is honestly just to let any bugs get worked out. I have no actual knowledge of any bugs, but wanted to give Copilot a chance to build out a bit. I'm a daily watcher of your YouTube and really want to support you. Also miss the daily videos. Um, yeah, so in terms of bugs, I will say this. We don't censor our Facebook group. So if someone's frustrated and they start posting in there, a lot of times we go in there and it's user error. So for example, like the other day, someone was saying like, email links aren't working. They had a screenshot of like email links were not working. We went into their account in their settings. They did not attribute what they wanted those email links to do in terms of email or text message template. They had not attached an email template or a text template. So the software didn't know what to pull to. Like it didn't know what to do. Again, if you watch Copilot University, it walks you through that process. We don't censor the Facebook group though. So if someone complains, so for example, someone complained this morning about it, a couple things. I address them. We don't remove stuff because someone's unhappy. And I think a lot of times we do get someone that might be new, like, oh man, like there's a lot of bugs. It's like, look, 1 or 2 people complaining a day, we will address them. We use our right away with support, talking to them. I try to really get them onto ATC, which is air traffic control, into support. We now are open 11 hours a day, Monday through Friday. We're trying to add in the weekends here pretty soon, and try to push them there. And we'll also have every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a live stream that you can hop on and literally get guidance directly with support. Live stream every single day, Monday through Friday. So we don't censor our Facebook group, and most softwares do that. And I've made a point because the support, they get really frustrated. They really, really push for like, can we remove these comments? Like half these are user error, and there are bugs. I'm not going to shy away from that, but like a lot of them are user error. And we don't censor the Facebook group. We try to keep it as open as possible. But I know sometimes seeing all those, it can be alarming. But I will say this. I've been very consistent from day one saying that 2023, we are playing catch up, and we're going to develop at a speed too fast. And we're prioritizing development over stability in 2023. I've been very consistent about saying that. Today, with job costing come out, that was the last major feature we had to get done before the end of 2023. We just switched over to AWS, which is a massive amount of bandwidth that we can unlock and immediately sped up the system and gives us a lot more power and compute. These are all things that we are doing to make sure that 2024 stability starts to become the king. We have things way less bugs. Creating as fast as we have and developing as fast, there's going to be more bugs. There just is. We will slow that down, institute several more layers of testing in our development process, which will slow us down marginally, but I'm going to make up for it by hiring. And we're constantly hiring more team members in terms of development and support. Also, coming up in 2024, we now finally have our beta group set up so that when we have features that we roll out, instead of it creating a bug inside of the system for everyone, it goes into 10 to 20 accounts of users that have signed up for the beta test, and then they give us feedback, and we can, if something breaks, it breaks in their accounts. They have voluntarily signed up for that group. It breaks in their accounts, and we fix the bugs there before it goes into production. These are things we haven't done in the past because it slows down development. But as we move into 2024, that's what the kind of things we're doing to prevent the bugs from happening. David Werrick, my question is the software ready, and what is coming before March 2024? Yeah, so I pull up real quick. If you go to copilotcrm.com and then you go to About and then you click Roadmap, I'll just show you real quick kind of what we're working on. So just keep in mind on some of these are not like we will do these at an exact time. So for example, it says Q3 2024, but we already finished the upselling feature. It says Q2 24 for the offline mode. It's gonna be done in January. But you can see at Q4 we have 1 more month. We've now finished the AWS thing. We have done the P4P software integration. We finished job costing and price matrices, and we have not done the 3D notifications or the form updates. That's what we're working on in December and January. So try to keep it as concise here in terms of what we're working on. As you can see here in Q1, to answer your question, January, February, March, we're really working on improving the report center, improving the chemical tracking, and the other thing that we haven't started doing yet is the work order and form updates. So they exist, but I think there's a lot of improvement for them. And so we'll refine those and make those better. That's really the main things that we'll be working on this coming quarter. Patrick asks, heard you mention on Saturday about not replacing your expense tracking software with the expense feature in Copilot or something along those lines. Can you expand more on what exactly the expense feature is for in Copilot? Great question. So, so we don't connect directly with your bank account or your credit card, and because of that, I would recommend using another software that does, like Zero or QuickBooks, FreshBooks. Like there's a gazillion of them. We usually recommend QuickBooks. So that way you save a lot of time in expense tracking. The only reason we have it now is for companies that are really, really small, that literally do this on the weekend and use the free version. That's why we have the expense tracking in there if you wanted to use it. I will say the reason we haven't removed it for larger accounts, other than the free ones who are doing like literally 10, 15, 20 lawns, is down the road, we have some really cool features we want to do around receipt tracking. And it will go inside of that expense tab. So that's why we haven't removed it. So there's some plans for that in 2024. But I would not use it if you're a larger company, because you spend so much time just manually, looking at receipts and things instead of just going to QuickBooks and matching things up because it's pulling that data in. That was a great answer. Return data security. You've done heaps to help small businesses, and I went from $45 to $165 per hour in 2 years. Thanks to your excellent advice. I documented and will share everything. That's amazing. You more than 3 extra prices. Let's go. Richard Warburton. Hey, Mike, Richard from the Salt Lake City, Utah area. I had the same question as Chris. We are right around 200K revenue for 2023. Currently using Yardbook, looking to add one more guy, 3 of us in total in 2024, and shooting for 350. Worth the switch. Yeah, like if you're shooting for 350 and you went for like you're almost doubling your business, I would personally join Copilot. I truly believe that you'll probably surpass that goal with I think instead of doing 350 next year, you'd probably do like 400 or 450. Is joining Copilot worth the extra $100,000 in annual revenue? That's the question to be had. Is it worth saving what would have otherwise taken another extra 6 to 12 months to grow the business? That's the question to be had, right? And so I personally, at 100% almost year-over-year growth, I would join Copilot. If you were doing 200 this year and you're like, next year I'm just going to stay at 200, have maybe 1 or 2 guys, I'd just stick with Yardbook. Rate of change is the most important thing. House Call Pro has no routing. Case closed. David, Mike, you guys are building my website and I've signed up for the solo version of Copilot. We are opening for business in January 2024 to be prepared for next spring rush. Looking forward to the future. Let's go. Thanks, David. I appreciate the support. What would be really cool is conditional logic forms, just like the company Formidable Forms, a WordPress plugin does. Basically, so you can make your own custom instant quotes with a credit card capture field option on the form to get card on file extremely fast. Basically, instant quotes online could change the game for home service industries. Copilot looks really good, though. Respect for no VC funding. Yeah, so the challenging part with this is we have so many different industries. Every single person wants their instant quote done differently. So like Augusta, we have instant price forms. We all use the exact same systems, exact same everything. It gets the variables already inside of just Augusta. When we use the same industry and relatively the same systems, we have about 180 different forms that we've created. If we literally opened up this 1 degree separate, it could go to 1,000 and then 10,000, because there's so many variations you can create in terms of services offered, variations of things like service area, pricing, discounting, whole bunch of stuff. So it's definitely on the horizon. I'd say 2025 is when we're going to really dive into lead tracking and taking inspiration from HubSpot, do several things like this. And the forms that we are going to be working on in the next couple months, where it's more like drag and drop and customization of forms, is probably what you're looking for. And it will do 90% of what you need. And then the other 10%, I think, would be more of an automation. You could build this. So like, for example, when they submit the form, you can immediately have it where it is sending the estimate, it is asking, require a credit card on file, etc. But right now we don't have this down to what exactly you said, but it's definitely in the cards and something we're looking at. But to be honest, it's probably 2025 before we can tackle that. Greater Toronto area. I am so sorry. I had no idea. Thanks, Chris. When can we see job costing? It's available in everyone's account right now. If you're enterprise level, you will go to the preferences in settings, scroll all the way to the very bottom, you'll see advanced features, and you'll need to toggle it on. And then once you do that, you'll see it everywhere. There'll be more training though coming out, if not this weekend, next week, on exactly how to use that. And that'll be in Copilot University. And again, if you want to do Copilot University, mikeandys.com/Copilot, you can literally sign up and just watch everything, like all the features and like workflows, routing, invoicing, everything. Should I switch at the beginning of the year or does it really matter? If you're planning to switch, this is why I'm doing the webinars. If you're planning to switch, do it in December because then you get your price lock guarantee. And we are raising prices in January. I tell every single service business owner I talk to, raise your prices. And if you add value to the customer, if you start answering your phones more, if you upgrade your website, if you start adding, this is all value to the customer. And so if we add value at Copilot, I will raise prices. I'm not doing that to anyone that joins in 2023 as a way of saying thank you for like the growth pains that we've been through. And so I would recommend joining if you're like, hey, I really want to join like February, March. Join December 31st so you can lock in that price. That would be my recommendation. And it's always the best in terms of your books to join either the last week of December or the first week of January because you got clean books, all right? So like all of 2023, you're like, okay, great. That's one CRM. I can run all my reports for that year. My taxes are simple. And then boom, CRM is ready to go for next year. And that would be your taxes. So there's not like, you don't have to run reports or sales tax reports in two different CRMs, which is annoying. So it is the best time to join and the best time to switch, I should say, any CRM at the very, very end of the year. Sorry, one more question. This is from Brian Kook. If there are photos attached to an estimate, do the photos transfer over to the scheduled job? That is a good question. I believe so. I know that we're going to be instituting several things around. Let me just think for 1 second. Did we already build this? Sorry, I'm trying to think about whether or not this is in the backlog or if we've already done it. All I know is that right now, if you do add the picture, it will add it to their account and then you could then attach it to the job. If it's doing it automatically, I don't believe so because we haven't tied pictures to individual line items yet. And so when a job estimate is accepted inside Copilot, you can schedule the jobs by each line item and then attach the estimate would be the pictures. So right now what you'd have to do is schedule the jobs and then you take the pictures from their profile and attach it to the jobs. Down the road, we do have intentions of adding pictures and video to individual line items. So that way that you can, it could carry over from the estimate to the job for the crew. You can add pictures inside the estimate, individual line items, but you can't do it like on the back end right now, where it's just for your employees to see, but you can add pictures into the actual estimate if you wanted the customer to see those. Elvin Rivera from Puerto Rico. Started a lawn care and pressure washing business about 2 months ago. Already at 100 customers. Whoa. And wanting to grow. Searching for a CRM. Is Copilot Enterprise recommended at our stage? You have 100 clients. I don't know exactly what that's going to turn out to be in revenue. If you're going to continue growing very quickly, I would say yes, Copilot's a good option. But if not, there's several options that would probably be cheaper if you're going to stay at like maybe you and one other guy to handle the 100 clients. But if you're going to go to 200 or 300 clients next year, I would say yes. But if you're just going to stay at 100, you could probably stay in another software if you're just going to stay there for the length of the business. Would you like to explain the price matrices and what it is, or should I just go to a video or a university about it? Definitely recommend just watching the video this weekend. It'll break it really down. I'm trying to get Mike Callahan, who's like the expert at this, to help do it as well with me. And basically what price matrices does is it takes a custom field inside the customer's profile, and then it extrapolates from that information pricing. So for example, you could say, okay, I'm going to put in the square footage of the lawn, for example, and you put in 4,452. Well, you've already created on the back end that when you create the estimate for the customer for mowing, it immediately takes that custom field and populates the price based upon that square footage. So you can do a lot of really cool stuff with pricing by the square foot, pricing by things like how many bushes if I'm trimming bushes, how many bushes, lots of different units in every single home service business that we use. And, by the cubic yard, by the pound, all these different things that units that we use. Now, instead of having to, every single estimate, try to figure out what the pricing is, you are going to put in the raw number and it'll pop out the price for you. So it'll really save with estimating. That's really the goal. By the way, your content is priceless. Thank you. Also, if you need help with anything having to do with your Spanish translation, since you said you were working on it, then I'm glad to help. Yeah, I think if you look at the roadmap here, it is Q3 2024 is when we're planning on it to work on the Spanish one. But Elvin, if you know, if you join and you see in the Facebook group we're working on it, and we need help, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. You said Xero does not directly integrate with Copilot, but that is the accounting software I use. Is there a way to use Xero with Copilot at all? This would be an important feature for my business. So I don't recommend. I do not recommend. Oh, this is actually the next question too. Does it link with QuickBooks? I do not recommend linking with any software in terms of QuickBooks or Xero, unless you have done a two-way sync with that software inside another CRM and you know exactly how that sync works. I don't sync it with QuickBooks, although I have QuickBooks. I don't sync it with Xero, although I've used Xero in the past. We do have a QuickBooks sync. I do not recommend you use it unless you have used a two-way sync in another software. The reason for this is very simple. I've been audited 4 times. Every single time I have not had the QuickBooks sync and I passed just fine. The only reason you would want to do a QuickBooks sync or a Xero sync is so that inside of your payments, it attributes the revenue to each invoice. So if you have a chunk of money coming from Stripe, it would say, okay, out of this $10,000, these are all the invoices and it all is tied together. Here's the thing. If you're in QuickBooks, that Stripe money is going to come in and you're literally going to mark it as service income. Boom, done, easy, no problem. Don't have to worry about sync issues, double payments. This one didn't merge correctly because I changed the number. Don't have to worry about any of that. And then what's going to happen is you get audited, you're going to literally go run reports inside Copilot of all your revenue by zip code, by your taxes, whatever it might be. You just run the reports on the income. You don't need them to sync. The reason I say this is because most people that I see sync, I'd say 90% of them spend so much time fiddling with the sync, having issues here and there. They forgot they deleted this old estimate. Now it's messed up the numbers. Now it's not adjusting correctly. They spend so much time doing that. If they just focus on growing their business, which is sales and their team, if they just focus on those things, they'd be better off. And so it's not that we don't have the QuickBooks sync. It's not that we don't deploy energy against it, because we do. If there's issues with it, we fix them. But every time QuickBooks Intuit makes change, we have to make a change. Every time we make a change, they have to make a change. And so it's opening up more cans of worms and potential issues that could come up. But furthermore, the most important thing is the time it saves is less than the time I see people spending on the sync. And I think, in my opinion, the the 2 things you got to focus on to grow your business is sales and your team. Outside of that, everything is a distraction. If you're trying to grow. Now, if you're trying to become like the most efficient, most streamlined systems business and not trying to grow your revenue, not trying to grow profitability, you're just trying to make the business you like software syncing, then it's good. Go ahead and sync yours. But 90% of people that I see sync up with QuickBooks outside and inside Copilot, I see them regretting it and changing it back. So I'll just be honest about that. I've never synced with QuickBooks. I've passed audits before. It's not hard to keep track of your revenues inside of Copilot and then your expenses inside of QuickBooks. And you can run a P&L. You can still run your financial statements and your statement of cash flows. And you can run all of that still through your QuickBooks account or Xero or whatever you're using. Is there a way to create? I think this might be skipping a word. Is there a way to create without creating a new customer until they have accepted the estimate? Maybe a crazy question. I think maybe you meant property. If you meant property, yes, the answer to that, you can create a property without creating a new customer. But I think you might have missed a word there. Phil Whitman, how are you finding managing cash flow? I'd imagine Copilot has a whole different scale of cost than Augusta. Stability of your company is critical as we all build our businesses on the platform. Yeah, so I can say this. We're growing faster than we ever expected. We have no debt. I own 90% of the company, and there's no reason in the foreseeable future why we'll need capital. And we intend to keep it that way. We keep it very, very lean. We put almost every single dollar into development and support. We don't spend money on marketing and advertising and booths and fancy stuff. We don't have a fancy office. We focus on developing the best product. And so in terms of managing cash flow and where we're at, like building software is difficult and very, very expensive. We've been blessed that the community stepped up and really supported us, and we are not having to take any debt out. There's absolutely no reason for us to have to take any more capital on from another company to sustain cash flow. That's for certain. Yes, then price matrix is what I need. I have that now in Spray. Perfect. Very cool. Phil Whitman, just like our employees depend on us managing our finances, we're all counting on you too. I appreciate that. And again, I know I can say a lot without sharing you like the finances of the company, which I can't do unfortunately because I was thinking about building Copilot in public and showing like our user growth and our revenues. We have some very litigious competitors, and so even while this is a private live stream and you have to sign up for it, and even if it's being on YouTube, like I have to be careful what I say. Because some people they sue you for anything and everything. But in terms of this, Phil, I'd just say again, kind of back to what I said before, like I just look at my track record. And I know it's like it seems egotistical, but it's like, look, at Augusta, we lost money for a couple years, like 3 years, and now it's profitable. Now it's consistently growing, and we're putting the money back into scaling up Command Center and AI and making it better and better for our owners inside of Augusta Nation. The same thing is going to be true for Copilot. So hey, it's Lindsay from Fine Turf in Charlotte. Let's go. When will Copilot be ready for us? 3.5 million next year, 2020 chemical client customers next year using Real Green now. Yeah, so I know a lot of people from Real Green have been asking me stuff about this. I personally, Lindsay, would not switch yet. I think we could probably take it on in March, but it might be too late in your season. And so if I was you, I would get a free account inside Copilot because you can do all the chemical tracking, see what it looks like now, and see what hurdles you would have, and then make sure those get fixed before you switch. At 2,200 customers, you can't, in a matter of a few weeks, like change your whole process. That's why I would say to one person that has like 100, 200 FERT clients, go for it. You can hop in, change a few things, and you're good. At 2,200, you need to stability is extremely important in terms of those 2,200 customers. You can't afford to change your whole process for 2,200 people. I would think though that by March we could accommodate you, but I'm very well aware that March might be too late in the season for you to switch. So you might need to wait till next season, like after next season. But I know that Real Green is kind of putting people through it right now, etc. We have to be able to route based on days since last service. Yeah, so this is the part we have not done yet, Lindsay. And this is the part that, come February, this could be something that it would probably be more in your wheelhouse. So I would wait. I wouldn't join Copilot yet. I just keep an eye on it, see what we release in February, see what changes you would need. We're really open to feedback, especially from the people coming out of Real Green. I know some people have already moved over, but they're smaller. And we're open to feedback that, and we'll probably actually hold a webinar just specifically for spray and chemical guys to see what else we need after that. Those changes are made in February. Patrick says, I need to raise prices come spring for recurring maintenance. Currently at $50 an hour. Need to be at least at $70 to $80 per hour. How would you recommend rolling this out with Copilot? Do you have templates for this? Yes, you can do a bulk price increase where you select all the customers, you raise them by a percentage or a dollar amount. So that'd be the first thing I would say. Honestly, when you're raising prices, I'm a big fan of doing it manually because I don't want anything to be changed in terms of someone's pricing, and I'm willing to spend the extra hours it takes to get it done right. And that is email the customer, change the pricing, and roll. I definitely would have a template. There's already a price increase one. You could use ChatGPT integration if you wanted to, but the bottom line I'm a big fan of is as you go into the next season, you're like, hey, Mr. Jones, we're going to start mowing next Monday. Here's your prices for the upcoming year. Let us know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Keep it nice, short, and simple. Don't go to a big diatribe of why you're raising prices and the economy and all the other stuff. Just roll with it. We currently use Jobber and sync to QuickBooks just to keep the client list updated and do all of our billing with QB. Yeah, so I don't think that's necessary. I think the billing should be done inside your CRM. Because otherwise, when you have office people, they're going to have access to QuickBooks and to your CRM. And it's going to be a bunch of back and forth, or you're going to be the bottleneck for everything to do with billing. And I just think that it can all be done inside of Copilot. It can be done inside your CRM. And it should be, because that's where all the information of the customer is. So if all their billing's being done in QuickBooks, I get concerned with that, I would say. And I just think that a CRM is a different function than financial software. And we're not trying to become QuickBooks. We're not trying to sync with your bank account and your credit. They do a phenomenal job of that. They are not a good CRM. They don't have call notes. They don't have automations around a lot of the functions of what an office needs. They don't have a lot of marketing features. They don't have routing and dispatch and calendars. So like, I think that's a CRM function. I think you need different software separated for billing, for financial reports. But for billing, like having a credit card on file, having a client portal, all of that, in my opinion, is very much of a CRM world. Because inside that client portal, if you have us in the CRM, they can see their next visit in terms of service. Down the road, we want to have it where they can go in their client portal and they can see where the crew is on a map coming to their property. Right now, they can, from the client portal, give you a rating. They can have a work request, so submit for more work and ask for more work to be done. These are the type of things that a client portal from a CRM offers a lot more functionality for the customer and a lot more usability from you from an office and admin perspective. Parker's Parks and Gardens. How does the payment system work? Is Stripe the only option? Does it work in Australia? What is the process setting up auto charge on card on file? So yeah, payment system, Stripe is the one we used. We have ability for PayPal as well right now. And it does work in Australia. It works in pretty much every country. Stripe is the leader in payment processing online. And in terms of process to set up auto charge card on file, very simple. We don't require them to have a password or a login. They can literally click one link and they're inside their account. And from there, they can enable autopay. They can charge, add credit cards, add a bank ACH, because ACH costs you way less than credit card in terms of fees. And we don't care which one you take because we don't have a cut of that. Whereas most CRMs, they push you towards credit cards because they make more money on that. So it's very simple for them just to toggle on autopay, put their card information in. David Werrick says, I think the guy asking about entering the customers was referring to leads, not properties. Can you enter people as leads until they accept an estimate and then turn them to customers? Yes, you do not have to have a property in order to be able to have a customer's name inside the system. Correct. That way you can do it for like one-click estimate emails, texting, etc. Thanks, Chuck. Love working with Chuck. Yes. Lindsay's awesome. He's out in North Carolina next to some of my locations. Peter Wheel. We primarily service condominiums and commercial properties. Can Copilot auto-generate recurring monthly invoices for service contract customers? Yes. So we call them level billing. Okay. So in most other software, they call them contracts. In my opinion, it's bad verbiage. So contract, you think like, oh, I need to sign a contract. Level billing is what allows you to charge the customer the same amount, just like you said, auto-generating the invoice every single month. And then underneath that level billing, you have all of the different services and jobs, etc. Now, down the road, once we have signatures a lot more down, we will probably create something called contracts that'll actually look much more like a contract for most customers' verbiage that you actually sign. And there's actually like a service agreement, and et cetera. So, but yeah, we call it level billing, but it is possible. Tons of people do it. David Work. If I sign up for enterprise with an annual payment, is this covered under the price lock? How would adding users as we grow to be billed if we bill annually for main CRM? Yeah, so great question. Sorry, I didn't clarify this exactly earlier. So the price lock guarantee is for enterprise, whether it be monthly or annual, but it has nothing to do with your employees. All right. The reason we did this is because it's very difficult for us to guarantee it for life because employees come and go and they're constantly in and out of the system. So it'd be very hard for us to track. It's very easy for us, though, to say, okay, you're at enterprise, the highest level. We're going to lock this price in forever. So whether it be annual on enterprise or monthly, we're locking that in. But the monthly is not being locked. Down the road, there's an outside chance we might have an add-on or two that would not be included as well. But I don't foresee that happening. I don't like those. I don't like to make it complicated. Like there's some CRMs that literally you have like 4 options for and then like literally 8 or 9 add-ons. It's like, you want a QuickBooks sync? Do you want a client portal? Do you want to accept payments? Do you want to be able to, route your jobs? Like literally, and all of a sudden it's like, well, this $300 subscription just become $800 because of all these add-ons that I need. I don't like that. I'm just saying that I don't want to promise that forever. So I know for now, I can guarantee that your enterprise level monthly subscription will not change with the price lock. And it is going to change, like increase in January. I'll also guarantee you that. And it'll probably, more than likely, increase every single year. But you can lock that in at the enterprise level for that monthly part. Would this CRM be a fit for a land clearing, forest mulching, brush hogging business? I also, down the road, doing sod installation. Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Absolutely. We have, only only about 60%, 60 to 65% of our current users are in the green industry. There's people doing cleaning, pool cleaning, fencing, construction inside Copilot. It's built for all of us. And so you could absolutely do it, no problem whatsoever in terms of making that work for you. Well, that was 1 hour. I really appreciate you all being here, and asking your questions. And whether you're thinking about joining now and here in December to get the price lock, or you're going to join in the future, I just want to say thank you. Um, I really do appreciate the support. As I stated earlier, like, we don't have venture capital, we don't have private equity. This allows me to have the freedom to do exactly what I think is necessary for the software and for our users. And that's only made possible because of all of you and because of the community. And so I don't have anyone else on the board. I don't have anyone telling me what to do. And so I think because of that, we can build something really special for the community that we all need. And I hope that my track record with Augusta and with other things you've seen shows that, like, I'm committed to two things. That is changing the level of professionalism in the industry. And secondly, making small business owners in the home service industries rich. That's all I care about. And so I want to guarantee that I can help you with your business. And I think software can absolutely do that. Robotics are definitely down the road. It'll help this industry. It'll help many industries. But it will never replace us. It will never replace physical labor, especially specialty work. You'll never trim a bush with a robot. You might do one or two, like in a very confined area, but you're not doing it on a slope. You're not doing it on steps. You're not doing it over a fence. It's not going to be replaced by a robot. What you can do, though, is take the labor that you currently have, take the equipment, take the cost that you have, and make it more efficient with software. And in my opinion, we are about 5 years behind where HubSpot and Salesforce are at. And I use those softwares. I've used them before, and they are so far ahead of us in terms of using AI, having great analytics, being able to tell you exactly when you should hire people. Like, there's so much cool stuff they can do, but they're not built for home services where we need routing and scheduling and level billing and all these different functions that a home service business needs. And so that's why Copilot exists. And I just want to say thank you for even considering it. The fact you've been on here for an entire hour, I really do appreciate it. And so I'm going to answer these last couple of questions here, but in case you do need to log off, I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for considering it. And I'd say at least join the free version so you can poke around. At least if you'd like to go beyond that, go get the enterprise level. You have 90 days where you can get the money back for whatever reason. And then I would say, like, if you wanted to join in January, February, and you look at the roadmap and you think you can join in February, join in December, please, because you'll be able to lock in the guarantee. And we're going to be very harsh on that. Like, January 1st rolls around, no one gets it. So please, like, last week of December, whenever, like, please join then so we can lock that price in for you forever. Because we are going to be a premium product in a year or two. Like, what I preach on my channel is what we're going to do with Copilot. And as you go for a premium channel or a premium price, a premium product, and you deliver at the very highest level. And that's what we're going to do. So my thank you to everyone joining before I think it's a refined, perfect, best product is the price lock guarantee. Because, like, the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're still rapidly innovating. Next year's still going to be at breakneck speed, but we're making sure that we have more layers of testing. There'll be less bugs. It'll be more stable. And switching over to, like, AWS is allowing us to do that sort of thing. So I'm going to answer these last few questions, but just want to say thank you so much for being here. And thank you for even considering it at all. Patrick, thanks for all the help, Mike. Truly amazing how accessible you are, even with everything else going on in your businesses. Keep up the great work you're doing. You're going to dominate this market in the next few years. Let's go. Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate it. Is the price lock for an annual subscription or a monthly subscription or both? As long as you are in the enterprise level, monthly or annual will work. People are paying attention, Mike. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. When are you going to how's a company doing 3 to 5 million? Great question. I would say if you're doing over 3 million in revenue, you'd probably want to wait at least 6 months. Because you're likely doing projects that are like 50,000 plus in size, and we have some really cool features we want to build for that. Or you have probably thousands of fertilization customers also would wait on that. And you'd likely potentially also have something like snow with hundreds, if not thousands of contracts. So if you're over 3 million, I would wait a little bit longer, keep track of what's going on, etc. I believe that we are the best option in the next 12 months for everyone up to 3 million. And then I'd say after, like in 2025, I would say we probably are trying to push that to 5 million. That's kind of my goal. When can a company do 3 to 5 million using Copilot? Oh, got it. Yeah. So I would probably wait at least 6 months. I'm very confident by the end of 2024. If someone was doing $4 or $5 million, I'd say Copilot was still a good fit for them. But for now, my passion is mostly for the companies getting to 3 million. So someone just getting started all the way through. That's my passion. I think if you have above, if you're doing 5, 10, $15 million in annual revenue at one location, you probably have the resources to go use something that can customize and have some SDKs and have some software like of your own and get it customized. And you're willing to pay out the nose through. Like, so something like Aspire, for example, in the green industry, it's extremely expensive. You're paying thousands of dollars a month for it, but you get a lot of customization. There's like really cool stuff, but they don't even sell like a package for people less than 3 million. And so package this together, make it really useful for people that are at 500,000, a million, 2 million, and not make it where they're paying thousands of dollars a month for software. Cause I don't think you need to, as long as we package it correctly and just use our brain of what actually is useful for the business owner. So, all right, everyone, have a fantastic evening. I love you all. I appreciate your support, and hopefully we can see you soon inside of Copilot. Take care. Have a good one.